morning. Is everyone awake? How's breakfast? Yeah, okay. So my name is Kurt Reifler, and I own the best and really in a lot of ways the only language immersion program for English here in Germany. Are we all familiar with what language immersion is? Okay, so I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. The name of the company is Fluent. Do we all know what the word fluent means? Okay, what does fluent mean? You can yell out. Feel free to participate. Yeah, so if you're fluent, it means that you can speak a language easily or clearly. Okay, so if you're fluent in English, it means that you can speak confidently. Okay, which hopefully I am right now. Do I seem confident? All right, that's good. Then I'm fluent. Okay, so before I tell you exactly what language immersion is and exactly how at Fluent we help you with your English, first I'm just going to tell you a few things about myself because that'll help you understand how we got to this point. So when I graduated from university, I had two options as I saw it. And one option was to get my doctorate in philosophy and be a college professor. And the other option was to be a touring rock and roll musician. So which one do you think I did? I'll give you a hint. It was the smarter business decision. It was the rock and roll. The guy from Seattle, of course. Yeah, so it actually turned out to be really the best decision that I ever made. For basically all of my 20s, I visited 5 continents, every state in the United States, probably 30 or 40 countries. And it was a really amazing experience, of course, to be able to meet different people from different places, of course, people who speak all different languages. So how many people here are native English speakers? Just raise your hand if you could. And how many people here are native German speakers? Okay. And how many people have a different native language other than, okay. It's like the United Nations. This is great. Okay, cool. So, okay. What I was realizing was that music was a passion of mine and it was something that I really enjoyed, but I had to figure out what the real motivation for being involved in music was. Of course, I love the music itself, but I was noticing that it was really a way to communicate with people. And that was sort of at the core of what I was doing, and the music was really just a vehicle to do that. And every time I was in a different country, I would play a show, and people would talk to me before or after the show, and we only had a few minutes, but they would all say, it's really enjoyable to talk to you. I feel like I'm speaking English much better the first minute. Of course, they're a little nervous, maybe 5 minutes in, but after you start to feel comfortable with a person, your English, your language, your confidence starts to come. I'm sure that we've all had that experience. So I couldn't help but think to myself, what if I didn't have to talk to everyone for 15 minutes? What if I could talk to them for a full hour? What if I could talk to everyone for a day? What if I could talk to everyone for a week? So Fluent is a 6-day English immersion program that takes place at a 4-star hotel. So you stay there 5 nights, 6 days, and each hour you speak 10 to 12 hours of English, sometimes 14, depending on what time you go to bed. We speak only English, and there's equal parts of native English speakers and non-native English speakers. So for example, the programs here in Germany will usually have 8 to 10 Germans and then 8 to 10 native English speakers, always equal numbers. And it's about 70 hours of English throughout the course of the week. So it's very intensive, but it's also very fun. Okay, this is not a course, this is not a class. We have some questions and some thoughts and idioms, but we don't do any books. We don't do any classroom. This is really just an opportunity to speak with each other, to feel comfortable, to get to know each other. And really what happens is you just wind up making friends and having a great time, but you happen to be speaking English. So the goal is actually to get you to forget that you're speaking English. That's the purpose of tandem or language immersion, okay? So that's the idea, just to learn through doing something. I think for all the non-native English speakers in here, you probably know more grammar than I do. And that's okay, but as we know, the hardest thing is to actually speak and to get your confidence. That's the real trick to being fluent in a language. So it's not the technical parts of the language, but it's actually the part that's not technical, and that's the ability to speak and communicate. Okay? So I'm going to take you through the day a little bit just so you know what actually happens. It's a lot like a summer camp. So we start the day with our breakfast, just like this. We have all of our meals together. So it's always equal native speakers and Germans. So 2 people, 2 people, 4 people, 4 people. We also do a mentor system. So throughout the week, you have one of the English speakers that you work with each day on a little project. And then at the end of the week, don't want to give away too many surprises, but you do something with this project with your mentor. We have the majority of the program is one-on-one conversations. So that's a chance for you to really relax and just speak to people. There is a curriculum of sorts. We give you thoughts and some vocabulary, but really the way that it works is very relaxed. And you can do anything during your one-on-one sessions. They're 1 hour long, and you can take a walk, you can have a coffee, you can take a swim. Again, these are 4-star hotels, so this is a very nice environment, and we encourage people to take advantage of it in every way. So not a class, nothing like a class, right? It's the opposite of a class. It's the way to really learn English, because a class, as we know, how many people paid attention in classes, in high school, for example? 1 person. Sometimes we pay attention, but we know it's not always the best way to learn, right? The best way to learn is often to just do the thing that it is that you're trying to learn. So this program goes on for 6 days, and at the end of that, it's not really over. It's over in a sense because the event is over, but at that point, you're now sort of part of our team at Fluent. So for our clients, we have what's called lifelines and living room lessons. So the lifelines are, for example, if you need to send an email to Ireland or England, and you need to send it in 3 hours, and you want someone to proofread it, a native English speaker to proofread it, we're the team, right? If you have a PowerPoint presentation and you need someone to check it over, that's us. If you need anything like that, basically we're your English-speaking friends, right? So you don't need to worry about anything when it comes to presentations, emails, or just general questions you may have about how to phrase things. Once you've done the program, you're now indoctrinated into our little team, and you can contact us anytime. The living room lessons are just what it sounds like. So it's a lesson that you can have right in your living room. It's basically a Skype conversation. So one of our native speakers, myself sometimes our other native speakers, they'll talk to you 1 hour long, 45 minutes, however long you have. So basically, you're just becoming part of this native English-speaking team. And we find that that's very helpful for people. And there's no end to it. So the event is the event itself. But then afterwards, basically, you just have a new group of friends that can help you with whatever you may need. So what I'm really getting at here is it's not only a place to improve your English, but it's also a place where you can sort of open your mind, meet new people, and experience new things. One of the key things that I heard in my travels is a lot of people would say, "You're so lucky." Have a lot of the native English speakers heard this? People say, "You're so lucky that you just speak English. You didn't have to learn English. You just speak English." And I always argued with them. I would say, "That's not true. You know, you speak English as well." And they'd say, "No, it's different when you're a native speaker. You don't have to work at it. There's no effort for you. It's natural." And they would tell me that if they only spoke English better, that they could get the job of their dreams, they could start the company that they wanted, they could teach their children English before they started learning in school. Basically, the fact that they were not a native English speaker, I was noticing was a limitation for them. And eventually, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it's very sad, but it actually is true. So what we're doing at Fluent, the whole purpose is to try to give you an opportunity to overcome these limitations because you don't need them. So, thank you.